All right, here we go. Tray Deee, welcome back.
Young Vlad, what's cracking?
The quarantine edition right now.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we were actually going to do the interview in person, but you explained to me how you got some older people living at your house with you right now, so it
Well,
would make more sense.
I have frequent visitors that are immunocompromised. So, I'm being safe for them. I'm like self-isolating and all that just to make sure they safe.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea because I took a COVID-19 immunity test yesterday
Ah,
and got the results back this morning. I'm actually negative, which
great.
is one of the few tests that you don't celebrate when you're negative. Everything
Right.
else you're negative, you're like yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
HIV negative, yeah. But in this case, being that I'm negative means that I haven't gotten it already, which means that I am still potentially susceptible to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. If you're positive, that means that you've already gotten it and you have basically antibodies built up in your body to protect you against getting it again.
So those are the asymptomatic people?
Well, people who were asymptomatic and recovered, they would test positive.
Ah.
Right.
So
Or people
would they
who
have
had
to
it.
go through that whole process again with the ventilators and the respirators and all that?
What do you mean?
I'm saying if they test positive again but they're not showing any bad symptoms.
Well, there's two tests, right? There's the test where you actively have it, right? That's where they stick that swab up your nose.
Right.
And then they have the blood test, which is the antibody test, means that you take that when you're already over it, or if you're wondering if you ever had it. Yeah, I never had any symptoms, but a lot of people, you hear a lot of people like Meek Mill say, oh, I was really sick in February. It was the worst I've ever been sick, so I think I've already had it.
Right.
So here's a way of checking to see if you already had it. Because I was kind of sick in January also. So I'm like, okay, maybe I already had it. But in my case, I didn't already have it.
Right.
So
right.
it just means I still have to be careful. I still have to cover. I still have to quarantine.
I think everybody should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If not, if not for yourself, do it for your old auntie or your grandma or, one of your kids that might not be able to, recover because that similar virus to Kawasaki or whatever that start hitting the kids and stuff like that. When people was thinking kids were immune from it and stuff like that. You just got to be safe all the way around. Do your research. Don't believe everything you read and see, but use your own judgment to protect yourself.
Yeah, when I see these kids in the clubs and the pool parties and everyone's packed out and it's like, yo, I just don't get it. But then again, I got to be my age by not being stupid.
That's real. That's real. When you posted that comment about blunt passing is going out of style, I said, I'm glad we got to smoke together, man. Because I'm really not with blunt passing, bottle passing, no kind of pass. If I don't sleep with you, I ain't trying to get nothing from you. Not
Right.
a hit, not a sip, not a kiss. I don't even want to embrace. You know what I mean? Dap me.
Yeah, with the elbow.
Yeah. Well, I wear gloves so I can get,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel grateful that I smoke with you, Snoop, Be Real.
Yeah.
From Cypress Hill.
Me too, yeah.
Those were memories that I will always cherish because they'll never happen again.
And I actually had some sun rocks for you today too, you know what I mean? But we didn't get to connect, so I put it on ice for you. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll definitely smoke those up because I've still been smoking this whole time just by myself.
Oh yeah. You too?
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Right.
I think the biggest piece of news right now is George Floyd being killed by a cop who had his knee to his neck in Minneapolis. You've watched the video, I assume?
Yes.
What did you think when you saw that?
I thought it was just routine for what cops do. When they subdue a black man that they might be physically intimidated by. I saw the routine response, and me and my wife kind of debated back and forth for a few seconds about the police that killed him. I said he got a double issue of remorse and regret, because I'm not defending him in no way, shape, form, or fashion, excusing his behavior, nothing. But I honestly don't think that his intention was to kill that man in the middle of the street in front of God and everybody else like that. But that's just how they ride roughshod over black males. You know, they figure whatever they do to us, we can withstand it. You know, it was the same situation. It took me back to the brother that they choked out for selling cigarettes in front of the store. And he was like, I can't breathe. He said the same thing. You know, remember when all the cops piled on him and choked him out?
Yeah, you're talking about Eric Garner.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's business as usual with them, man. You know what I mean? And I was glad to see they told some out there. You know what I'm saying? Wish they'd have got their hand on him, actually, but you know how that go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll end up getting put in general population eventually, and
won't happen. Won't happen.
Someone might put a knee to his neck.
Won't happen. No general pop for the cops.
That never happens.
No. Nah. They got a special place that they keep them, you know, so nobody can get to them and exact their own version of retribution.
So the cops have their own section in every prison.
It's called protective custody or sensitive needs, you know, or, you know, some other kind of keep away tag they attach to it.
Okay, so they're there with the snitches and
the child molesters, the rapists, you know. Yeah, that's who they wind up being around.
Well, number one, has anything like that happened with you in terms of the police arresting you?
On arrest, not really. Not really. Not on arrest, but while I was in prison, you know, I caught an assault charge on the police, and I got like 9 months in the shoe. And when they came to correct the situation that was taking place, they you know, they did what they did, you know, a little more arm twisting and, you know, tight cuffs and dragging, and they actually took me and put me in a cell with a Southside Mexican shot caller, you know, in handcuffs. You know, they was trying to really get me an issue, and I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but, you know, when I walked in, he was like, what's up, Holmes? You know what I'm saying? And they walked away with me in cuffs. I said, what's happening, homie? You know, and we just started talking. I told him, you know, I just caught assault on the police. He said, yeah, I see what they trying to do. He was like, man, you good. They gonna be back in about like 5 or 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So we sat there and chopped it up. Then they came and snatched me out of there, threw me in like the visiting area. No visitors were out there, but in the visiting area where all the phones at, kept me in there for like an hour, you know, just playing mental games with me until they actually took me to the hole. So I've experienced it on another, you know, in another arena.
So they were hoping that when they threw you in with the Mexican guy, that he was going to basically kill you.
Yeah, or try to kill me, or do whatever he could do while I was in cuffs. You know, he had pretty good action at doing whatever he could have, but no, he played by the code. You know what I mean? So I respected that.
Were the Crips in a war with the Mexicans at that point?
Crips always in a war with the Mexicans, pretty much. It's just whether it's active or in hiatus. You know, but pretty much it's always some kind of conflict going on. You know, it might not be right there at the head, but it's always something brewing, because behind the wall, you know, you make deals with them, and, you know, some people don't keep true to their word and things of that nature. And it's always a struggle for power in there, for the best jobs, and, you know, whatever free staff is, people can have access to that's down with the program. So, you know what I mean?
Well, all 4 cops were fired that were involved in the George Floyd murder. Apparently, in 2016, there was a law that passed in that district that said that if one cop was involved in a situation like that, all the other cops have a duty to stop that situation from happening. And since the other 3 cops just stood around and let it happen, all 3 of them violated that rule. So all 4 were instantly fired.
Okay.
Which is, I think, the right course of action.
Well, I mean, but can you get fired from your job for killing somebody? Would you just get fired from your job if you killed somebody? If you had a coworker that you didn't like and you just decided to kill him when he went in the bathroom, and they say, you know what, Vlad, this just ain't the job for you. You know.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, because number one, I believe that the cop who did the murder is going to be up on murder charges.
We'll see. It so many times it hasn't happened.
Yeah, like Eric Garner.
Yeah.
Because we actually got a video that we posted today that showed that leading up to that arrest, George Floyd wasn't really resisting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very sad situation. Very, very, very sad situation, and
awful.
Awful. This guy woke up this morning. Yesterday morning. And I'm sure he had plans later on that day. He was thinking about what he was going to have for dinner. He thinking about calling his family and his friends. And now he's ended that day dead, becoming a symbol of police brutality.
Another symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how it just keeps repeating itself over and over again, and then they institute these different laws and oversight committees and accountability councils and things like that, but yet and still you run into the same situation over and over and over again. What are they telling? How are they training these police? You know what I mean? What are they? You know what I mean? What's a part of they understanding on how to deal with people of color when they don't engage with people of color on a regular basis unless they work with them, or I mean, it's like without understanding, man, you ain't never gonna come to no solution.
Yeah, George Floyd was a big guy, big muscular guy. Did he have scars on his chest? Is that what it looked like?
I don't know. I know I seen that scary ass police, old ass police with his leg in his neck when he was saying he couldn't breathe. I seen that. That's the most poignant part of the video that I recall. I don't even watch half of that shit, man. I'd be so disgusted with this shit.
Yeah. But he was a big guy. He was muscular. Intimidating to the cop that was doing it. Obviously, the cop was scared, and he wanted to, I don't know, overdo it, show him who's boss.
You still ain't the boss if you got 5 or 6 of your boys around, and I'm on the ground, and they all pulling a leg and an arm, and your foot on my neck. How the f*** is you the boss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's cowardly. It's cowardly.
All that shit be cowardly. Most of that racist shit is cowardly too. You know what I mean? You don't see white folks belling around urban areas and shit with, I hate on their shirt and all that kind of stuff, and riding around with nooses hanging out of their truck, and they live in, Gardena or Compton or something like that. You're not gonna see that shit. You know what I mean? But soon as they group up and get all together and, with those same with those same beliefs of prejudice and superiority. Not all white people is like that. I know a bunch of cool white people, and they don't even function on that level. You know what I mean?
Like me.
You one of them.
I'm one of them.
You definitely one of them. You know what I mean? And I don't. You can't paint everybody with a broad stroke. So you have those that are indoctrinated with the hatred and the and looking down on other people and all that. And I think that's what I don't like about Trump, man. Trump kind of endorses that kind of mind state. And, no one is perfect, so I can't go over every little single thing about him and say this is wrong, this is bad, I don't like this, because I'm sure somebody could make a checklist like that about me, some shit they don't like and how I operate and things of that nature. But at the same time, his divisiveness, is what has a woman in the park being told to leash her dog, and she feels comfortable enough to deflect her own guilt by getting on the phone and calling the police and claiming that she feels threatened, and and the man is a Harvard graduate and a bird watcher. One of the most gentle black people I ever seen in my whole entire life.
Yeah, let me just say I've never met a bird watcher, period. Much less a black guy that does bird watching. Let me just say I've never met a human being like this in life.
Right.
In life.
Right. They have them though. You know what I'm saying?
They have them.
They have them. And
right.
It's like if the wrong reaction by the wrong police responding, that man could be laying dead in the park.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what she tried to do. She said, "You better leave me alone, or I'll have the police fuck you up."
Yeah.
Or kill you.
Yeah.
If you don't leave me alone, I'll have the police kill you. Because I'll tell them, as a little white woman, that you were trying to attack me or rape me or whatever. Yeah. I'll make up the story as I go along.
Real talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say that the financial company that she worked for has fired her, and her dog has been taken away.
Yeah, because she was dragging that little all around the place. Like, you shouldn't even have a dog the way you was treating that. I mean?
Yeah. She got the dog from a Cocker Spaniel rescue a few years previous, and I guess you sign certain forms when you get a dog like this. So that rescue called her up and said, "We're gonna need that dog back. You need to bring that dog
back." Yeah. But crazy shit like that, man. And it's getting more and more. You see the kind of like anarchy building up. Especially with this quarantine going on. You got armed militias going on. Did you see what they did at the governor of Kentucky's home? They some white militias and their supporters and enablers actually went to the governor or the mayor. I think it's the governor, either governor or the mayor home, who he's black, and they hung a statue or like a makeshift doll that looked like him on a tree.
Along with the George Floyd murder, there's the Ahmaud Arbery case, which was essentially a lynching.
It was. Just with bullets instead of a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that video?
I watched the sanitized version of it.
Yeah. That was, I started to watch it and I had to just turn it off. It was just...
I watched the sanitized version of it because I was made aware of their motives when they, from the outset and what they intended to do, as far as just go out and just target somebody for murder. I don't know where the bloodlust and all that comes from, man. It's like it's like, you know, brothers be calling them devils sometime, you know what I mean? And you be like, damn, brother, I don't really be that harsh with it, you know what I'm saying? But then again, some of the devilish shit that, you know, some people do, man. And like I say, you can't paint everybody with a broad stroke brush, but the predominance of, you know, people that's into that kind of stuff, man, you know, just savage butchery and all that for just for the sake of, you know, I mean, even gangbangers had a warped ideology that, you know, we was controlling and taking over something and establishing something. So we had a purpose behind our mission, whether it was valid or not. We had an end game that we was pushing towards, and it wasn't just to kill the opponent. You know, it was for dominance. It was for, you know, financial position. You know, but it's just to, hey, let's just go out and, you know, burn the cross on somebody's yard and shoot up their house, and, you know, everybody that run out, let's just kill them. You know, it's just like, where does that shit come from, man? That's
Yeah.
evil personified.
And the cameraman got arrested also and is being charged with murder.
Yeah, that was good. I was happy to
Yeah.
hear that as well.
Yeah. I don't know what this fool was doing recording all this, but apparently, I guess his car tried to stop Ahmaud from escaping or something, and so he was involved in that murder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you know, it was said that they had a hotline, you know, a community hotline of, you know, people of similar mind frames that they would call him up or that family up when it was, you know, something that needed to be addressed or something on that level. So, you know, they got the older one in clan regalia or some, you know, some other kind of white supremacist garb or something he had on. So, you know, it's self-evident. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
self-evident what it was. And, you know, they had all kind of people trying to block and cover them up. You know, it's amazing that we still going through that in this day and age, you know. But shit, man, we gotta consolidate our own power and, you know, really, I mean, I'm starting to kind of like really ponder if separatism is not uh is not wise on the level, you know, that they was telling us about in the 50s and 60s, you know, certain Muslim leaders were saying that, you know, man, you know, we need to get our own, we need to have our own states, our own, you know, our own policemen, our own laws. We need to have the ability to build our own areas up under our control, under our governorship and all that. And you know, it never came to fruition, but I don't even see it wrong to even be thinking like that, man, because in the midst of all the madness that's taking place, on top of the fear that's being spread with this virus and the lack of adherence to the rules and regulations, how to stay safe and keep others safe, that people just, I can't be confined for, you know, another 2 weeks. I have to come out. I have to be around my friends. We have to be in church, you know, and I even understood why the pastors got mad and said they was going to open back up, because they riding through the community and they seeing all these liquor stores open. You know what I'm saying? They seeing people hanging outside the liquor store still drinking and all that. They like, well, damn, how's this going on and we can't spread our message? And whether it's, you know, whether it's to pass the collection plate around or actually really spread the message and, you know, revive people's spirits, it's like it was unfair. It was totally unfair, you know? So
Uh,
yeah, man, this shit is like, man, you know, I don't know, man. I'm not racial as far as like not liking one particular race or another. But man, we got to start doing better for ourselves. So when shit like this happen, we can respond to it with just more than just two or three different legal counsels that's known to show up and political figures that show up every time something like this happens. I know they getting tired as a motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? They in this part of the country. They got to go to this part of the country. Oh, something just happened over here in this state, and it's just only a small nucleus of people that even give a damn enough, to get on the front lines about that shit. So, it just shows that we got to get more serious about, you know what I mean? How we plan to continue our existence. So
since our last interview, Tekashi has been released and he dropped his first single.
Mm-hmm.
And in the single, he's rapping about snitching. Have you watched the video, by the way?
Not a chance.
Okay.
Not a chance.
I watched it one time because it's my job to.
You're a journalist, brother. I got you.
I have to do it. It's not
You're
because
a
I'm a
journalist.
fan. I'm not a fan of his music,
Yeah,
but
right.
This is my job. Look, he dropped a video. I know it's going to be a discussion point. Let me watch it.
Right.
In the video, he's rapping about snitching. At one point, his head turns into a giant mouse head.
I seen the clip. Clip of that where it goes from a cartoon to him changing into a rat. It's not a mouse head, Vlad. It's an actual rat.
It's a rat.
He's rubbing that in all of the so-called gangsters' faces and all that. Who been talking about what's gonna happen to him and what should happen to him and all that. But I mean, granted, he's probably in a secret location that's been getting revealed, and they moving him around like So yeah, it's like that rat shit that he's promoting, and it's just really like a slap in the face. Really, that like what y'all gonna do? I'm here now. Let the games begin. And that's pretty much how he was pushing from the beginning anyway. His famous line, suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? He ain't changed a bit, and it has yet to be seen who might change him.
Well, yeah. I believe this is the first rapper in the history of rap that actually raps about snitching proudly.
I don't even think he's proud of the fact that he snitched. I think what it is that he knows, I'm sure he reads his comments and, remarks that people have to say about him. And he has a lot of defenders out there saying, well, what would you have done if they had did this to your baby mom and they had stolen this from you and they was going to kill you? He don't owe them no loyalty. So to them, it's not snitching, but whether it is to them or not, it don't matter because they wouldn't do shit anyway if they felt he was an outright snitch. That generation is done. That is a dinosaur era that's probably the world will never even see again because that was a different time when people really frowned on somebody that would commit to something and wouldn't follow through with it. It went so bad that when people was even changing gangs, people that was even frowned on, like, we called them set hoppers and transformers and, like, oh, y'all let that fool, oh, what? He was from there. Oh, y'all let him claim y'all set? Oh, he's a mark, you know what I mean? So that wasn't even accepted. So you talking about them allowing somebody to tell and take down a whole gang and still, hey.
Well, we added it up. I just interviewed Seiko Billy and Billy Otto, who was 9 who are 9 Bloods, who were part of Tekashi's crew in the beginning, who brought him in and kind of brought the 9 around. And we added it up. He helped get people 70 years combined.
Right.
Plus 2 more people who are awaiting life sentences right now. He handed out a massive amount of years to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say this because Tekashi always wants to try to control the narrative. He tries to change the story and make it look a certain type of way, and he has a lot of followers, and he could try to do that. But the reality is even though he tries to paint himself as a victim and say, well, I had no choice and so forth, if he was just, let's just say he was me, right? Let's just say I'm in a similar position, and I got you and a bunch of other Crips around, and after a while, you guys all start to extort me, and you guys are making me pay a bunch of money and so forth, and you guys start to threaten me, and I have no other choice. I finally I have to go to the police as an escape, right?
Okay.
I can understand that mindset. Okay, I get it. I might do the same thing in that particular position, but the reality of what happened with Tekashi is that he was being a gangster the whole time.
Yes,
he was telling these guys, he was putting hits out on people.
Yes, he was.
He was getting people robbed. He was getting people shot at. He was getting people beat up. He was causing problems and issues with people, and then had his people go and handle those problems when they would come to his front door.
Right.
The only reason why Tekashi told was because he was facing 47 years himself for his own criminal activities.
Right, right.
He had a murder for hire hanging over his head. He had a stolen backpack from a robbery that happened that was found in his apartment. He had an automatic weapon, an illegal automatic weapon in New York, which has a mandatory of like 5 years. Look at the Plaxico Burris's and the Lil Waynes of the world and see how much time they got. That is why he told us, because he was facing years.
If Lil Wayne got 5 years, what did he do? A year off of 5?
No, sorry. He got like 2 years. My bad.
Oh.
My bad.
Okay.
He had a good lawyer.
Okay.
No, you're right. Lil Wayne got like 2 years or a year and a half or something like that.
I'm like, Plaxico, I know he didn't do 5. Yeah.
No, you're right. Plaxico got like 3 or 4 years, though.
Maybe, yeah.
Tekashi was cooperating to lower his own sentence.
Yes. Yeah.
He wasn't going to the authorities when he saw these guys doing illegal activities around him. He was perfectly fine with that. He only told when he himself was arrested. People forget that he was charged with a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
That's why he told. That is the only reason why he told. He didn't want to be a rat.
No, he didn't. That was the last thing he probably wanted on his resume, as hard as he was acting.
Yeah, he has songs talking about, oh, you come around, you tell, we don't tell. Like he has anti-rat lyrics. Like if you look at his old songs.
Right.
He told because he was trying to get out of prison time himself. That's it, point blank, period. And in the process, and the way he got out of it was to give more of the hardened criminals around him, the ones who potentially had more time than him, by helping those cases out with the feds, he was able to lower his own time to a year and some change.
Got you. That's
how I look at it. And to make matters, and to me, at the point where I just threw my hands up when I watched that video, there was a line about how he's saying we'll hit you with 100 shots. And I'm like, wow, you're rapping about shooting people. Like, this is so crazy to me. This is so crazy. You're rapping about shooting people. You, of all people.
Yeah. Well, hey, the feds might supply him with the weapon to do it. Who knows? You know what I mean? You know, that's their boy now. You know what I mean? And they going to catch a lot of people in the trap. Not a lot. I can't say a lot because I don't know how many people really going to stick to the code and try to right the wrong that took place with that situation. However, dude, man. Dude got a long way to go, man, in this game, man. You know what I mean? And is he gonna be able to survive it? Because, you know, like I say, some people gonna feel like, you know, it's their obligation to make sure that, you know, for what they represent, they represent it the right way. So we just gonna see what unfolds. I don't want to start identifying no particular violence or no kind of, situations or scenarios where, it could happen, because I'm so far removed from that, you know what I mean? And even having an interest in that, that's way on the other side of the continent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm, hey man, if they loving it, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, shame on them, and for those that still feel like it's something to stand for, he gonna find a couple of situations that's not gonna be favorable for him. I'll just say that.
Well, let me say this before we get off the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back in the 90s, Tim Dog had a song called Compton?
Yes, I do.
And everyone was upset over it. Snoop dissed him on, what song was it?
Tray Deee.
Tray Deee, there we go. Yeah, Tray Deee, And a lot of people were upset over that diss song. Well, I remember when I interviewed Kool Keith from Ultramagnetics.
Ultramagnetic MCs, yeah.
Tim Dog, okay, he was an associated act.
God.
So he was associated with Ultramagnetic MCs. And Kool Keith told me that during the latter part of Tim Dog's life, he lived in LA.
Right.
He lived in LA, went to the stores and probably went to some hip hop concerts and so forth. And since people didn't recognize him,
nobody remembered that though. That was
he never. What I'm saying is because he wasn't all that easy to spot, he never had any issues. Tekashi, on the other hand, with how he looks, is going to have issues for the rest of his life. So I think Big U told me that at one point the money's going to run out, but people aren't going to forget all the stuff that he did and said.
Oh, no.
Let me give you 6ix9ine. 7 years from now, he going to still be 6ix9ine, the kid who was disrespectful. The money is gone now. The labels have moved on to other projects. Guess what happens?
People still going to remember what he said.
People going to still remember. Mm-hmm. Ain't you the kid, the king of New York? Oh, man, I was on some stuff back then. Oh, no.
So hopefully he could afford security to his dying day, because at the point that he's just walking around without security, with all the face tattoos and whatever else, he's going to run into problems with somebody.
Well, as long as he remains controversial, and he's going to be a story run on somebody's media, he should be all right, because a lot of people feed into that. They gonna want to know what's the latest with this guy, and it should be like a death calendar or something, like a countdown every day that he's alive or something, but it's not that severe anymore these days. So it's like, hey, long as he has a story to tell, and long as people want, I heard this video or was shown like 100 million times in like about a week or so, something like that. So people curious, he's newsworthy. So until some real shit happens to him, he's gonna stay newsworthy. So somebody gonna be able to demand a figure from those who want to tell the story about him.
Yeah, his new music video is at 250 million views.
A rat. Confessed rat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's America today.
All right. Well, in the process of him coming out, Snoop Dogg called him a snitch, and then the two of them started to go back and forth. And then Tekashi started posting some paperwork that appeared to show Snoop cooperating after an arrest that he had.
Do you have that? Do you have the paperwork? Is it or the clip of the paperwork?
I've seen a picture of the paperwork. All right. Well, Tray Deee, I appreciate you joining me today for this talk. Crazy world we're living in right now, between the quarantine and the police murders. It's just a crazy time, but hopefully we'll get through it all. Well, I know we'll get through it all.
We will. We will.
Yep. We absolutely will, man. So I wish you and your family all the best.
No doubt. Appreciate that. Wish you the same, man. You know, we'll connect back again, man. And when hopefully when everything's get right, when everything gets right, rather than we'll have our own blunts.
That's what it is. Until next time.
Peace.